Knight, aka the Serial Doodlist, and today I'll be doing something a little different. I'll be sharing a story about my experience showcasing with raw artists. This, as you see, is a bit different than my previous videos because I'm practicing and I want to say I'm evolving as a content creator. I'm evolving and I'm working in more creative ways to bring you different styles of content. That being said, I want to thank you all for watching and I want to get straight into this video. For those of you who don't know what Raw Artists is, it's a large international artist platform organization that showcases content creators of all kinds for a one-night-only extravaganza art party. Musicians, makeup artists, fashion designers, models, photographers, and of course us visual artists. How you can become a Raw Artist is usually two ways. One, they find you and reach out to you via social media, or two, you simply just sign up. My story literally involves both ways. Through either, you create a Raw Artist profile which allows you to upload pieces of your artwork, inspirations, and an About You bio for you to talk about yourself and promote your work and craft. I heard about Raw Artists, I believe the winter of 2015 going into 2016. I found them by complete accident through a YouTube video and was captivated by their video and I wanted to showcase and sell my work with them. So I quickly went over to the Raw Artist website and I filled out a profile, uploaded what I thought to be my best work at the time, and I just sat back and waited to hear word. What I did not know at the time is that Raw usually chooses their artists a couple of months in advance to the timeline of their showcase, allowing their artists to prepare themselves to obtain tickets for attendance as well as create the merchandise that they need, but I'm going to get into that part later. So yeah, I filled out my profile, wrote a bit about me, and I linked my Instagram account, which was really modest. I had about 110 followers at the time, and I was just mostly playing around with it. From winter all the way into spring, I heard absolutely nothing while working on other art projects. And I have to say it was a little heartbreaking, because I did not feel like I was good enough to make the cut. I saw a couple of artist friends featured in the New York section of their profile and website, and I just felt like I couldn't hang with them. It took me a long time to realize that maybe how do I say it? Maybe the reason why they didn't accept me was not the reason that I was a subpar artist. It was probably meant because I wasn't either what they were looking for, or I just didn't fit their showcase or something like that. But not hearing that sucked because it left me to my own devices. I knew I couldn't keep thinking that way, so I decided to simply take it back a notch and just focus on my craft. I set more goals and I dedicated myself to my Instagram account, posting a few drawings daily and treating my Instagram like an online visual progression sketchbook. And from that point all the way until summertime, I want to say I grew, well no I don't want to say, I did grow organically all the way up to about 400-ish followers. And I can't get the timeline correct, but I was getting ready to launch 529 Arts Avenue with my co-founder and best friend Drod in the summertime, around July. And on my way home from a hangout in Soho, I got a phone call which led to a voicemail from an unfamiliar number. For story purposes, I'm going to give this guy who called me the name Chad. And Chad literally goes, "Hey, this is Chad from Raw Artists. I'm the director of New York City and I came across your Instagram. I really like your style of work and I think it'd be a great fit for our upcoming showcase in October. I'd love to have a chat with you and get you in as our showcasing artist. Give me a call back. See you later." Holy shit. Raw Artists reached out to me? Raw Artists reached out to me. I did it. I got into Raw Artists after 7 months of simply forgetting about it and working on my craft. I called Chad back, and before I said yes, I proposed an interesting idea to him. When I called Chad back, we talked about art and life for a little bit, and I found out he was from LA and was actually planning, curating, and putting everything together while he was still in California, and that he would be flying back to New York City the actual day before the showcase. I pitched to Chad the idea that I would showcase with Arts Avenue as a table, making it seem like I was a featured artist from Arts Avenue. That way, we could slyly interact, network, and sign up visual artists for our organization. He loved the idea, but I'd still be under my brand, the Serial Doodlist, which I was totally okay with. And with that, Chad sent me over all the PDFs, my brand new artist profile, and links to the showcase for promotion. Me and Gerard were ecstatic. I got us into a huge art showcase, and I was able to do it under my name and brand, the Serial Doodlist. How cool is that? It's the bee's knees. Once we went through all the material, we found we had to make ticket sales for the event. Basically, how Raw works, which is public knowledge, is that to cover the cost of your table, you basically sell a base amount of tickets that they give you. If you don't make it, if you don't make the sales, it gets directed to an online invoice to you thereafter the event. For me, it was 20 tickets, each totaling at $20 each. That's basically $400 for me to sell out. Now, I understood the concept of hustling those tickets for those who like your work and want to support your craft, but what about artists just starting out, you know? What if this is their first exhibition ever? Sometime in September, all the creators met up with Raw as we go to our exhibition showcase. For me, it was out in Long Island City, Queens, the Melrose Ballroom, a really gorgeous venue. Usually with Raw showcases, you usually showcase in your city, and you exhibit in said city. That year, Manhattan's exhibition space was held out in Queens at the Melrose Ballroom. We all do the meet and greet, and Gerard and myself meet a lot of cool creators, like really badass people from all walks of life. Unfortunately, we didn't meet Chad yet because he was still in LA. However, for sake of story purposes, I'm going to name the person who orchestrated the meet and greet, Peggy. Peggy gives us the full rundown for exhibition times, setups, lunch breaks, everything one by one. She goes into detail about exhibitions with each creator's station, roles, for the makeup, the fashion, the models, the dancers, the photographers, the jewelers, you name it. All of these are detailed explanations about collaborations as well. You're mixing it up. Peggy actually encouraged it. And while doing this, Peggy gave us a tour of the space, which was a 2-tier space. As we were on the top floor of the Melrose Ballroom, we see that there's this huge stage with a video projector in the background, which means it could be used for projection purposes while somebody's on the stage. Dancers, musicians, and even the designers and models could use that for their showcase. They'll put video up or images and request music specifically that the DJ will play for them. All of this was awesome until Peggy got to the visual arts section. Peggy goes, and I quote, "As for visual artists, you're on your own." That was it. So I asked about any possible collaborations between tables, and I instantly got cut off. And when I asked about the stage, she basically answered it would be more for the rest of the group that has more interactive showcases for display. Okay. Whatever. So already I could see that the visual arts were concerned about the support. When I say arts, I mean artists, sorry. Gerard turned to me with a concerned face, and I was thinking to myself, not so much the amenities that bothered me, but the lack of focus in the visual arts department. Because if you went to any Raw showcase, it's 80% visual arts on both floors, and then you have the other showcases happening on the front stage, but a lot of people engage with the artists and buy the products that are out there that the artists showcase. So I guess that was just a little bit irking to know that we were left to our own devices, which isn't bad because if you're seasoned and know what you're doing, you know what you got to do. But if you're new and you're looking for just a little bit of instruction, it could be a little hard and challenging. I don't know, maybe it was Peggy's planning skills or whatever, but I just still felt a little off about it. That night, also, Peggy promised us a happy hour at the local bar up the block. Not only did Peggy not give us the right address at first, she and the Raw artist team never showed up. So we all looked like weirdos just sitting there for like an hour waiting for her to pop up before ordering our drinks. Fun fact about me, I don't drink at all. I just like to order ginger ale and pretend I'm having a cold one in a glass. But that doesn't stop me from enjoying the company of fellow friends that I'm out with. And that's exactly what happened. We all talked about our craft, our art, and our life, and it was awesome. I learned a lot about the artists and the creators. I learned that they were also struggling a bit with the ticket sales, and a lot of them were just starting off in the art world, and this was their first time selling and showcasing. During this time, I had about 4 Arts Avenue showcases and about maybe 10 or more outside exhibition showcases under my belt. so I felt okay-ish. Still nervous, but okay. I was a bit sad to see that because they talked about reaching out to Raw for support and tips, and they were kind of greeted with the response of, keep trying, which is understandable. Chad was personally helpful with me in terms of giving me tips and advice on ticket sales, which was really great about him because I was always able to be in contact with him when I needed anything at all. So you're the best, Chad. Thank you. Later that night, me and Gerard got home, and I got petty from Peggy's encounter, so I called up Chad and I pitched that I wanted to do a live art stream using the stage video projector, and Gerard could do digital art projection from his iPad. Chad literally paused and went, no one's ever done that before. Let's do it. Let's get that up and running and in motion. Awesome. Fast forward to that day. Murphy's Law, my old friend, came to visit me again. We got there 10 minutes late to set up because I live in New York City, which means when you need the MTA the most, they will fail you. Train delays, train delays, train delays. Me and Gerard were wishing we knew how to drive because of how much we had in our book bags and a big box with a printer inside of it, because we had this idea that we were going to sell so much merchandise that we'd have to print on demand. So we brought our brand new printer that we bought for art prints with us to that showcase, and it was torture getting it from Manhattan to Queens. Why did we do that? That was not the smartest thing to do. So we get to the Melrose Ballroom and we begin to set up immediately. Setting up our cages, putting our art, setting up the table, getting the easel up. I really wanted to put an easel up so I could do live drawing during the showcase and that people can live draw as well on a blank canvas for fun interactive activities. Rehearsals were happening in the background, and we talked to the DJ about our placement on the slot for the live drawing feed that I had talked to Chad about. Come to find out, our dearest Peggy did not clear it. I was mad. I was livid. So we went to go find Peggy, and we were like, yo, Peggy, what's up? What's going on, girl? And she was like, oh, what's up, guys? So we talked to her about the live drawing, and she goes, as long as it's entertaining, I guess. I don't think Peggy really cared for visual art, but that's okay. We talked to the DJ, who was like, crap, now I gotta figure out a way to put this in the showcase. And Gerard was like 007 that night, a man on a mission. He kept running downstairs to talk to the host of Raw Artists, which is like a MC, who presents all the talent that's happening throughout the night. Gerard kept talking to him, and even got us to announce that we would be on the card later on in that night for stage performance. So, Gerard, you are awesome. Side note, Raw promises newspapers, advertising, curators, collectors, VIP guests to attend the show. Now, from what we gathered, 90% of that was from friends and family when artists are selling tickets personally. So, doesn't that mean general population is exactly that? Also, you can put in requests for local news outlets and social media to come via VIP for you to see your showcase. So I talked to Chad about maybe getting BuzzFeed and ArtNet News, more so ArtNet News because they're very local and cover local artists. That was met with silent ears, unfortunately. I don't know if that was Chad's doing. I feel like that's just the way it is, unfortunately. I bear no bad blood with that, but it just sucked to know. And the peeps who were interested in my art, as well as 529 Arts Avenue, as well as the loved ones that came out to support us. And we got emails and contacts, which was amazing. That was the best part, just seeing people really want to invest their time in us and just see that we had something here and that it was all coming to head. And later on in the showcase, we were actually announced for the closing portion of the show, and bam, I got to showcase my watercolor skills and draw his digital prowess. It was nerve-wracking, but at the same time, it was amazing because people were actually turning around and paying attention and just interacting with the screen and going, wow, that's really amazing and talented. And it's something that would have never happened if I did not speak up and speak my mind at the Raw Artist Showcase meeting. And I'm glad that I did. So after that, we all broke down, not in tears. We broke down everything and packed everything up and put it in the back of Ralph's car. My good friend, who was kind enough to drive us back out to the city, where we went to our favorite diner in Washington Square to celebrate. Overall, my Raw experience, I would have to say, mostly relied on me and Drod having to make our voices heard and our presence felt. But it was overall a very interesting experience. My advice to anyone thinking about doing Raw is maybe to have a couple of showcases or art fairs under your belt for some prior experience to help with ticket sales and overall just set up for the show. I was met with some adversity throughout the way, but with hard work, focusing on your craft, and believing in yourself and knowing what you're worth as a creative, I got something out of my experience. So that's been my experience with Raw. Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you in the next video.